What's going on, guys? It's UrAvgConsumer, and today Apple announced iOS 12 at WWDC 2018, and these are the new features you're going to be excited about. Now, the first one is something that we've been asking for years, and that is group FaceTime. And now we're going to have more than a one-on-one conversation. We're actually going to be able to FaceTime with up to 32 people. I don't know where you're going to find that many people to FaceTime, but it is possible, and that's actually really cool. And yes, I know there are third-party apps that already do this, but it's going to be great to have that feature built into the iPhone. And with this, you'll be able to have set groups that you can jump into a chat with at any moment. So if there are a few people already in a group chat, you can actually jump into that chat, which is pretty cool, something we haven't really seen on the iPhone, well, ever. But you can also start a whole new group chat at once if you want from the app. And kind of similar to what we see with Google Hangouts, when one person is speaking, the app detects that, and they're the main focus of the chat as they get a larger icon. And you can even use animojis, stickers, or emojis, which I'll talk about in a second, to kind of spice up the chat. So if you want to have a little bit of fun with it, you can throw those into the FaceTime. And even if you don't have an iPhone as your daily driver, if you've got something like an iPad or something with macOS like a MacBook Pro or an iMac, you'll still be able to take part in group FaceTime. Now for that emoji I talked about. If you were a fan of Samsung's AR emoji, you're gonna like this one. I think they kind of did it better. And emojis are pretty much animojis, but you get to customize it yourself to make it look just like you. And it's actually really customizable and inclusive. You've got tons of different hairstyles, skin colors. You can get really granular with your changes, which is awesome. It's something I really like to see so that you can really get it to look like you and have special things like maybe hats or earrings. You can switch this thing up quite a bit to give it your own personal taste. And of course, you can use these just like you would animojis. You can send them through iMessage and record a video, or you can send them as a sticker. But what's even cooler now is that you can even use them as a mask during your FaceTime. So if you FaceTiming your girl and she doesn't want to get on camera because she doesn't think she looks right, you can go ahead and put on that memoji and get back to chatting. And there's even new animojis like a ghost. I think they've got this new tiger, a T-Rex. And what's even crazier is now it has this high-tech feature that they're calling tongue detection. So if you want to throw that in there, you definitely can. And another feature that we've all been waiting for is finally here, and that's group notifications. With this, if you have a ton of notifications from a single app, it won't clog up your lock screen or notification center. So now you don't have to worry about any more clutter. All your notifications will be grouped right together. And next up, we've got Siri. Siri's gotten a few updates, nothing drastic, but there are a couple of things that'll make her a lot more present whenever you're using your phone. And it feels like Apple integrated her more into iOS in a way that makes her feel more like an assistant. She'll be able to learn your behavior and check your calendar for certain things. So like, let's say you're running late for a meeting, she'll automatically pop up with a suggestion saying, hey, do you want to text the person you're meeting and tell them you're running a bit late, which is pretty cool. Or maybe in the morning, she'll ask you if you want her to order your coffee so that you can go ahead and go pick it up. So those little bits and pieces that an assistant would typically do, she's going to be able to do right for you from your phone. So she's going to be able to take a look at everything you've got going on, everything you put into the system, and give you suggestions based on that before you even ask her to. Some people might think it's a little creepy. I personally love seeing things like that. I think it's going to be awesome. But something that is even more exciting is Siri Shortcuts. Now with Siri Shortcuts, you're actually going to be able to have Siri speak to certain apps. So there's going to be that Siri integration now. One of the examples that they showed is with the Tile app. I personally use Tile quite a bit to find my keys. I always misplace them, and I always have to jump into the app and then hit find and then try and locate it. But now with the Siri integration, I can just call out to Siri and say, find my keys, and she'll be able to have the alarm go off on my keys, and I can find it that way. That is a much easier system, and you're going to be able to do this with a ton of different apps. A lot more going to be getting integration, so I cannot wait to see that platform grow. And like the shortcut name implies, you're going to be able to do this cool thing where you set up a bunch of different actions based on the shortcut that you create. And I can see myself using this for a routine that I set up for maybe bedtime, so I can have Siri activate bedtime with just one phrase and have her speak to my shades where it brings them down, turn off my lights, lock my door using the August lock. All these different things that you would do individually, you can now have Siri do with just one command instead of having to jump into all of those different apps. And you're going to be able to use this for a bunch of different scenarios. Apple even showed one where if you're heading home, you'll just throw up your maps, set your temperature to your house to be ready for you when you get there, all kinds of cool stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how setting it up actually goes. Might require a bit of work, but maybe it won't be too bad. And now they even got this focus on digital health, so if you're conscious about that, you're gonna finally be able to start unplugging and spending less time on your phone thanks to some new updates. Now, Do Not Disturb, you can actually opt out of getting notifications when you're going to bed at night, or even when you first wake up in the morning, so that you're not distracted by those notifications and you can actually do what you need to do, whether that's sleep or get started on your day faster. And I think we've all been there where we first wake up and we're sitting there checking a bunch of meaningless notifications. Hopefully with this, we'll be able to actually jump out of bed and get the day started. And now we're gonna be able to see just how much we're using our phone with this new feature called Screen Time. And with this, you'll be able to see how much time you're spending on your phone, how many times you pick it up throughout the day, how long you're spending on particular apps. Lots of information so you can monitor just how much you're using your phone. And if you're one of those people who feel like they need to cut back a bit, you're gonna be able to do that because you can now enable certain time limits on certain apps. So if you're spending too much time on IG, you can finally set some limits to that. If you want to just do an hour throughout the day, your phone will be able to limit that, and then it'll give you a notification when you've got like 5 minutes left to let you know you're about to run out of time. And this actually works throughout multiple devices. So if you're gonna go and pick up your iPad and try and cheat, it's gonna remember that you want that limit and then set that for you. Now, where all of this is going to be extremely helpful, not only for us, but it's going to be great for parents and helping monitor what their kids are using and how much they're using it. You're pretty much going to be able to treat apps like an allowance. So after a certain amount, you get cut off, which I think is going to be really helpful for parents. And last but not least, we've got some really cool features with AR. They showed a lot of cool stuff like being able to have multiplayer with AR games. I actually got to try that out myself, and it was really cool, I'm not gonna lie. So that's going to be a really awesome feature. Now, beyond gaming, something I think a lot of people will be able to take advantage of is the Measure app. With this, you'll be able to scan 3D objects and measure something based on segments, or actually even have it automatically measure something so that you can get the exact measurements. And it's really cool. This is like next level, guys. I personally wish I had this while doing my house renovations. This would have been something that would have been really helpful. Instead of always trying to track down some measuring tape to get some measurements down, this would have been really nice. So for me personally, I'm very excited to have this. I think it could be useful for a lot of people. And there were other cool things mentioned, like a new search tab for photos, changes to CarPlay, news and stock apps, and even renaming iBooks to Apple Books. But the ones I mentioned in this video, I feel like are the ones you absolutely need to know. But what do you guys think of iOS 12? Are there some cool features that I didn't talk about that you think are really good? Let me know with a comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace.